Hi, my name is Rachelle Stimac and I am a health promotion educator at BANA. Today we are going to talk about self-esteem, what it is, where we get it from, and how we can improve our self-esteem in ourselves and also in youth. So what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is essentially how valuable, lovable, worthwhile, and competent we think we are. So I could sit here today and tell you guys that you are all worthwhile, lovable people. But if you don't believe that about yourself, then it doesn't really matter what I say. Our self-esteem is constantly going up and down. So this is why we say it's like a roller coaster. So let's say, for example, I'm having a really good hair day. My self-esteem is going to go up. Then let's say I'm making my lunch for work and I realize I've run out of time. My self-esteem goes down. Then I'm driving to work and my favorite song comes on the radio. My self-esteem goes up. And then I get to work and see a huge pile of things on my desk that I think I can't possibly get through in one day. My self-esteem goes down. So do you see how much my self-esteem has gone up and down just in the morning? Imagine what it can do our whole lives. So the important thing to remember is that when we are going in and out of this dance and we find ourselves in a low point, that we know that our self-esteem is going to come up again. So where do we get our self-esteem from? These two pie charts represent where we may get our self-esteem from. This is going to look different for everybody depending on where you are in your life. So I'm not in school anymore, so I'm not going to have an education piece. Other people might want to add art and music to their pie chart. Where we get our self-esteem is personal to everybody. So the point of these pie charts is to understand that we want to have equal slices in our pie. That way, if something gets removed, we have enough in our pie to sustain us and to keep us going. So looking at this pie chart closest to my right, if this were my pie chart and half of what made me feel good was my body image, so that's how I feel about the way that I look. If, again, this were mine and I wake up in the morning and I'm having a bad hair day, then half of what makes me feel good is gone. So I may see my friends and I may see my family, but half of what makes me feel good is already gone. So I don't have enough left over in my pie to sustain me and to keep me going. So this is why it's very important to have equal slices in our pie, no matter what those slices may be for us. So why is self-esteem so important? It makes everything a little bit easier. So when we like and love ourselves, things simply become easier. You are less likely to beat yourself up over a mistake or when you don't meet some impossible standard. It helps you try new things. So sometimes it can be a little bit scary to go outside of our comfort zone, and we might even create these defined limits on ourselves that hold us back from trying something new. But when we can push through those barriers with good self-esteem, that's when we grow. And then you have the opportunity to see whether whatever it is that you tried, if you like it or not. It helps you respect yourself even when you make a mistake. So mistakes are fine as long as we learn from them. And good self-esteem helps us see our stumbles and our hurdles as part of the learning process, as part of the journey, rather than as failures. So it helps us make good decisions. So good self-esteem gives us the confidence to know who we are and what we want, and therefore making our decisions much easier for us. This bottom line here says, when you respect yourself, others usually do too. We say this because the way that you treat yourself is a direct blueprint of how other people are going to treat you. So if you're walking around all day and saying negative things about yourself, you're giving permission for other people to do the same thing to you, or even to themselves. So what are some ways that we can improve our self-esteem? We can explore interests in a variety of areas. So I talked about this earlier, trying new things. This would be something that you could do here. Be kinder towards people. When we treat people with kindness, we are more likely to think of ourselves and treat ourselves in a much kinder way. And the way that we treat people turns out to be the way that they treat us in the long run. Stop falling into the comparison trap. So there's this beautiful quote by Theodore Roosevelt that says, "Comparison is a thief of joy." So when we compare ourselves and our lives and the things that we have to other people, we can kind of create this destructive habit. And so what we want to do is replace this habit with something better. So instead, look at how far we've come. Compare yourself to yourself. Focus on you. Look at the ways that we have improved and that we will improve our own results. Practice self-acceptance through positive self-talk. So believe it or not, we are talking to ourselves all day, every day. So if you ever catch yourself saying something negative about yourself, I want you to try and replace that with something positive. Even if we do this just once a day, it will have an impact on our self-esteem. I want to switch this now to talking about how we can boost our self-esteem in youth. So children create their own ideas about their own capabilities, while at the same time they're creating a self-concept based on their interactions with adults. So as adult influencers, it is key that we help children create healthy, accurate self-perceptions. So the ways that we can do this are to make positive comments. Children need to hear approving words. It helps them feel loved and wanted. Life is made so much harder when you're living in negativity. And so as important as it is to talk positively around children, it's also very important to be aware of how we're talking to ourselves. So if we're saying negative things and our children are around, they're going to pick up on that. Reward effort and don't talk about success or failure. So the important thing here to teach children is that effort and trying are so important. So make positive comments about effort. So yes, the outcome of course is important, but it's not as important as the process it took to get there. Allow your child to learn consequences. So as adults, sometimes we feel that we want to help our children avoid mistakes and avoid difficult situations out of fear that they might feel hurt or feel down. But the thing to remember is that there's so much value in mistakes. And the truth is, it's inevitable that children are going to experience challenges. And so the best thing that we can do for them is give them the tools to help them cope, rather than helping them avoid every situation that's going to cause them adversity. Give compliments daily. So children have a hard time formulating their own opinions of themselves, and so they rely on feedback from adults as well as cues in the environment, so applause and smiles and hugs. So when we give our children positive affirmations, it has a tremendous effect on their self-esteem. And the important thing too is to remember not to just compliment their physical appearance, but more so their inner qualities and their strengths and their talents. So that wraps up my presentation on self-esteem. If you need more information on this topic, you can visit positiveinfluencer.ca, and there are downloadable resources that you can download for yourself. Thank you.